I'm Bob Thompson, Vice President of Institutional Advancement of Randall University.
I am Dr. Thomas Marberry, Distinguished Professor of New Testament here at Randall University.
Dr. Marberry, we appreciate your faithful service to Randall University, and I just want to go back in past history and tell me where you came from and why did you come to Oklahoma Bible College?
Well, thank you very much, Bob. It's a pleasure to share this information. I was born in Houston, Texas, and lived my teenage years in Bryan. I was saved at the Fellowship Free Will Baptist Church in Bryan, Texas at the beginning of my senior year in high school. My first semester of college I spent at Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, Texas, which was a fine school and still is a fine school. And I didn't leave there because I was unhappy at Sam Houston State. I left there because I felt like the Lord had something else for me to do, that I needed to be more actively involved in His service. I had met Dr. J.D. O'Donnell, who was the president of Oklahoma Bible College at a Texas State meeting in the past. And I was very impressed with Dr. O'Donnell, and it was largely because of his influence that I came to Oklahoma Bible College, and I enrolled here in January of 1968.
Had you seen the campus before?
No, I had not. That was my first visit to the campus.
What was your first impression?
I was not impressed at all. That we had 39 acres, and at that time, there were only the original 4 buildings that I found out later had been built in 1965. And not only that, in 1968, the city of Moore was just a very small town, and there was very little around us. We were just out here on this prairie all by ourselves.
Do you remember the first student you met?
No, I don't. I don't remember the first student I met. I remember the first teacher I met, and it was Brother Dan Farmer. That Dan and his family were living in one of the apartments down there in the student dormitories, and I remember meeting them and going to church with them. And I remember what a kind reception that I received from Brother Dan and his family.
Did Dan teach Old Testament survey, New Testament survey?
Not at the time I was here. He, I think, had taught those courses, but by the time I came, he was no longer teaching them.
Well, who was your roommate?
I had several different roommates while I was here. Bill
Is that
Haynes.
Because he was difficult?
No, no, because we usually had 3 or 4 guys in a room.
Okay.
At that time, one of my roommates was David Parrish, and Dave and I became good friends. Bill Haynes was another of my roommates, and we became very good friends.
Well, there's a rumor. Did you really play your tuba in your room quite a bit?
Yes, I did. Yeah, at the time, I was an instrumentalist and enjoyed playing the tuba very much, and I persecuted them whenever I could.
That's been a well-known rumor about you, Dr. Marberry.
And it's true. It's not just a rumor.
You mentioned the impact that Dan Farmer had on your life. Were there any other professors that particularly spoke to you, encouraged you at that time, and why did they impact your life?
Well, we had a relatively small faculty at that time because it was a small school. And several members of the faculty here at Oklahoma Bible College made a tremendous impact on my life. I think I would point out 2 of them in particular. One of them was Dr. J.D. O'Donnell, who was the president of the school at that time. I had a course in Christian doctrine under him, which was my first experience with theology. Probably the one who had the greatest impact on me was Brother Clarence Herron, who was the academic dean at that time. He also pastored a part-time church down at Blanchard. And I had several classes under Brother Herron, and I also went to church there at the Blanchard Church while I was a student here. And he made a great impact on my life in many different areas, both academically and practically.
Well, you finished OBC, Oklahoma Bible College, and then you went off to Baylor University?
Yes, I went on to Baylor University to continue my studies. That we only had 2 years here at that time, and I went on to Baylor University and finished my BA degree there, and I graduated from Baylor with a BA and a major in religion in May of 1971.
And then you came back to Hillsdale Free Will Baptist College when?
Well, I came to the college in 75.
And you became a professor.
Right. Between the time I graduated from Baylor and the time I came back to teach here, I went to Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth, where I finished a Master of Divinity degree in December of 1973. Okay. Then I enrolled in my doctoral program at Baylor University in January of 1974. And I started teaching here at the college August 1st, 1975.
What was the first class you taught?
I think the first class I taught was church history. That during that first year I taught Greek, I taught theology, taught several different courses. In fact, I taught, the first semester I was here, I taught Life of Christ, and that's the only time I've ever taught that class.
Oh, is that right? Well, how come they never let you teach again?
I don't know.
So you continued your education while you was here at Hillsdale, right?
Right, that's correct. At the time I started teaching here, I was enrolled in my doctoral program at Baylor, but I had not finished it. And I remained enrolled and continued progressing on the degree as I could, and finally finished my doctor's degree in December of '83.
Did you do a lot of classwork on weekends, go back to Baylor on weekends, do some classwork?
For 1 year I did. For 1 year I traveled back and forth to Waco every week and took graduate classes on Friday, because the graduate classes at Baylor met 3 hours 1 day a week.
I also understand that besides that, you also went to Bryan, Texas, and pastored church too.
Not at the same time.
Oh, not at the same
that time. I had been pastoring a church in Bryan, but I resigned that when I came to teach here.
Okay. And so how long did you stay the first time at Hillsdale Free Baptist College?
Well, I was here from 1975 until 1999, and then in 1999 I left to go to the seminary in Mexico as president.
Okay. And you came back and taught at Hillsdale when?
Right. I returned to Hillsdale in the summer of 2008 to be vice president for academic affairs.
Okay. I'm dying to know this. You spent your entire ministry pretty much here at Oklahoma Bible College.
Yep, a large part of it.
Hillsdale and Randall. But you've also pastored churches during this time. You pastored Bluebell for how many years?
Well, I was at Prairie Bell Church out in western Oklahoma for 16 years. I have also pastored 3 churches. I've never pastored full-time, but I pastored the United Free Will Baptist Church of Bryan, Texas before I came to teach at the college. And then since I have been here, I pastored the Prairie Bell Free Will Baptist Church out in western Oklahoma and am now serving at the First Free Will Baptist Church of Oklahoma City.
You have these credentials, and Dr. Marberry, you've had numerous books published. You've written some commentaries for Free Will Baptist and for Randall House, and you're about to have Luke completed and probably will be in print by July. You've got your credentials from Baylor and Southwestern. And I'm interested because you have the ability to teach anywhere you want to in the United States. Why have you stayed here and taught here at Hillsdale and now Randall University for all these years?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure there are not that many teaching positions available in theological institutions, and there are a lot of candidates. But the reason I've stayed here at Randall is because I believe in this institution, I believe in its mission, and I believe in Free Will Baptist. And I enjoy working with the young people of our denomination and doing what I can to help prepare them for Christian service. You know, if I had not believed in the school and its mission, I wouldn't have remained here all these years.
You've taught a number of students, from ministerial students to mission students, and they all have been impacted by your teaching. They appreciate what you have taught and your faithfulness. I appreciate the fact that when you've taught here, you've still found a commitment to the local church that deeply impresses me. Why do you think our people ought to support Randall and this Christian Ministry Scholarship that we're offering?
I think they should support this program because Randall University has been given by Free Will Baptist the great privilege and the great responsibility of helping to prepare young men and young women not only for Christian service, but for Christian leadership. That if our Free Will Baptist denomination is going to continue to grow and develop and do what the Lord wants us to do, we are going to have leaders who are trained and prepared. And Randall University occupies a key position in that program of training.
Well, Dr. Marberry, we can't tell you how much we appreciate what you mean to this university and what you mean to me personally. And I know numerous students who call you simply the Marb because of their affection for you and love for you. And we also, because of your faithfulness to the kingdom and to Randall University, when we talked about this scholarship for those involved in the School of Christian Ministry, we wanted to give it a name. And so the Board of Trustees and the administration of Randall University have decided to call this Christian Ministry Scholarship now the Dr. Thomas Marberry Scholarship. And our first brochure here with your name and your picture in it, as you're teaching students, you can't see the writing on there, but I believe that's Greek. I believe that's your Greek students. And Dr. Marberry, we're proud of you. And I think the one thing I can say of you that I see, you have been faithful. And thank you for being so faithful to the kingdom. Now, I want to encourage our people. We'd love for you to give 60 for the 60th anniversary. So please just go www.ru.edu/give60 and give $60 because you're committed to the task that we're doing here at Randall University. Thank you and God bless you.